Welcome back to the Surround Sound podcast. I am your host, R. Hunter Jr., the truth and not a rumor. I am ecstatic to be back in the cockpit of this show. I felt like that I have wanted to tell you guys, because this show is a lot longer than I thought it would be. We're probably at, 30, 40 minutes? Somewhere. Yeah, Troy's like, yes. It's about 30, 40 minutes. But it's not the normal hour, so it's a quick listen. But it's like I wanted to tell you guys about all 2 months worth of my life and what I've been looking at. And I wanted to tell you guys about it. I'm sorry. But this last thing happened like early. This happened like the beginning of March. And I promise, ESPN is the number one. It's number one for a reason. ESPN stands for Entertainment Sports Programming Network. And when I say they live up to their name, I say I say it with no equivocation. These people created something called 30 for 30. And what 30 for 30 is when they take some like nugget of sports related information and they really, and they don't have to try hard, but they really like quantify it and make it work for people that maybe don't even really watch sports. And what it has done is they have generated so much content to where you can watch ESPN just like you can watch the ID channel. Like, it's people that will never be in law, will never kill nobody, hopefully, but they watch the ID channel or they watch certain stuff because, or something like that, because it's just interesting. Or, you watch Lifetime, and I watched the Clark Sisters. I forgot to talk about it on today's show. But I watched the Clark Sisters. My name isn't Clark. I'm not a sister. I don't sing gospel. But it was an interesting show, or interesting movie, because of how I could see that happening in my life. And just for the record, the Mama Clark is just like Joe Jackson. Another story for another day. Well, in the spirit of ESPN and 30 for 30, they have made more than a few like really good documentaries. Just to name a couple, they made the Mike Vick story. Like, if you look it on demand, if you want something to watch, the Mike Vick story is real good to watch. The Miracle on Ice, it documented like all of the events that led up to the 1980 Lake Placid Olympics and the United States defeating the Soviets. Well, like I said, in the beginning of this quarantine period that hopefully may be ending here in the not too distant future, ESPN showed something that I had been wanting to watch for about 4-5 years. And this is the O.J. Simpson story. Like not the one that they had, because they had like two. Like, this is the real one. O.J. Simpson Made in America. Now, it was interesting to me because I saw a lot of parallels from the O.J. Simpson story and the whole coronavirus pandemic. Yeah, I had a lot of time on my hands, people. I've been thinking, I was like, this eerily strange that both of these things are kind of the same. Well, First of all, let me say this, and you probably don't agree. And if you don't, that's fine. We can, hey, I'm trying to make it to where people can argue with me and you can come on and you can have a voice. But I think O.J. Simpson might have been on to something. Not in killing Nicole Brown Simpson. No, not that. Of course not. But the fact that he wanted to be O.J. I ain't black, I'm O.J. In a utopian society, in a perfect world, we wouldn't look at him as being black. We would look at him as being O.J. We wouldn't, he wouldn't have to live or lead a sect of people because everybody would be doing what they're supposed to do, and that's how it would go. And if what Martin Luther King said was right, you want to be judged by the content of your character and not the color of your skin. That's what he was trying to do. Stings a little bit, doesn't it? Well, let's go back and see how these two things kind of lined up. Well, racism, which is looked at in the documentary, like racism is really the backdrop of the O.J. Simpson story, Made in America. Racism is a sickness, and it's highly contagious. Coronavirus is a sickness, and it's highly contagious. Check. Racism has floated and meandered through generations of people for absolutely no reason other than my mama and my daddy don't like these type of people, and they've passed it on to me. You literally somebody can literally cough, then walk away, then you walk into the room, and those germs will literally be hanging right there. Just being around can get you the coronavirus. So you have to block it. The racism and the coronavirus. Let's go to the next one. Not knowing you're sick. You can be asymptomatic with the coronavirus, not have coughed, not have sneezed, not have had any congestion or anything, and infect somebody. That's word on the street. I'm not a doctor, but that makes sense because you can have other illnesses and it lays dormant in your body, which makes sense because that's what your immune system is designed to do. Your immune system is designed to fight off whatever the sickness is, and then however your body transports it out of your body, usually through your urine or your bile, you don't have it anymore, or it's not in you anymore, and you can't get anyone else sick. But not knowing you're sick and passing it on, that's very dangerous. In OJ's case, he may have been a little bit sick and didn't know it. See, in trying to not be black and be OJ, he forgot that he was black and he was OJ. He mentally thought that he had like transfigured into something else. Which is ironic because in looking at the movie, it was almost like he was playing a con. Like he was trying to get over. Like we talked about wrestling earlier in the show. And in a wrestling terminology is called getting over. And when you're getting over, what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain support from your character. You want your character to work so you can continue to, wrestle for money. Like so you can support yourself, support your family. But see, I think he began to believe his own bull. And he literally thought that well, I'm not going to say that. But he thought that he could get away with anything. And not knowing you're sick, as we have seen with the coronavirus, does even more damage. Lastly, what's really kind of crude and hard to digest is what I've heard about this coronavirus. And it leads directly to the title, the subtitle of the O.J. Simpson story. I think his racism and his wanting to leave a racist state, and possibly, just like the coronavirus, it was all made in America. 4, Matasha in the Barrel. For that super producer over there, Troy. And for myself, I thank you guys for supporting for these last, 8 weeks, the Surround Sound podcast, man. I've heard some really good news, some good reviews. And we're going to keep doing our thing. We'll see you guys next week.